Thank you for taking the time to join us. We welcome you to our Modifying Your Child Support Order virtual workshop. My name is Marquise Howard, Chief Marketing Officer, and I have with me Judy Reese, Child Support Supervisor. She has over 20 years of experience working with child support program, and we have a series of questions that we are going to ask and answer to help identify how to request a modification to your child support order and what all is the criteria needed with modifying your child support order. So first off, what is a modification?
A modification is a review of your child support amount to ensure that we have an appropriate and equitable order. We want a right size order. We don't want it to be more than you can afford to pay or less than you can afford to pay.
I'm just curious, is the modification known as any other term?
Yes, we also refer to the modification as a review and adjustment or an R&A. All of those are one and the same.
So whose responsibility is it to request a child support modification?
Either party can request a modification. Also, the child support division can initiate a modification if we see a change in circumstances, as well as we get a 3-year notification to possibly review for modification as well.
Okay, with all the recent changes, especially with COVID-19 and the recent pandemic, there has been changes to my wages, living conditions, and right now I'm looking to get a modification. So what steps are needed in order for me to request to see how to get a modification?
All you need to do is either contact our call center, and you can contact them by calling 866-901-3212. Also, you can contact your case manager directly by through our Customer Connect, and or you can contact them directly if you have their phone number. As well as you can contact our live chat and also go to our website. There's various ways that you can contact our office for any action as well as the modification process.
Okay, now with COVID, right now there's it could be a short-term change, it could be a long-term change with my job. So is there a difference between a short-term modification and a long-term modification?
There is no short-term or long-term modification. If your change in circumstance is going to last 3+ months, then it's probably a good idea to request the modification.
Now, you mentioned the change of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate, please, on what would be a circumstance that would meet the criteria for a modification change?
Well, if your income has changed, possibly child care, if the custodial parent and or the non-custodial parent has a new child in the home, as well as visitation. All of those are a good change of circumstances that may require a modification of your order.
Okay, so what happens if I need to modify the child support order, but the parent doesn't live in the same county that I live in?
If the parent does not live in the same county, the process does not change. If in fact your order is registered out of county or possibly filed out of county, we would just register your order in Riverside and proceed with the modification process.
I'm glad you mentioned the term process, because what exactly is the process for completing a modification?
Once an individual or the child support division requests or initiate the modification, what we're going to do is send both parties the income and expense form. The requester has 20 days to respond with their completed income and expense as well as proof of income. Once that is received, then we'll review the modification by entering the information, the income, the visitation, any deductions that you're given. We'll enter that into our guideline calculator. It's going to advise us what the appropriate child support amount is. Both parties will get a review notice, also with a copy of the guideline calculator. If in fact both parties are in agreement, we'll have you sign a stipulation. If one of the other party is not in agreement, then we'll set a hearing for court calendar to determine what the appropriate amount will be.
Okay, so what is the basic timeline for that process that you mentioned? If I were to go to our website and speak to a live chat agent, a child support specialist right now, and I inquire about requesting a modification, how long will the process generally take?
The modification process can take up to 180 days. It doesn't always take that long. It just depends on the circumstances of the case, but that is the guideline that the Child Support Division needs to complete it in.
Okay, does that time frame change at all if the other parent is out of the county or even out of the state?
Out of the county, not so much, but possibly out of the state. If we are enforcing a out-of-state order and we do not have controlling jurisdiction over that order, then we'll have to petition the other state to modify that order.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a hypothetical scenario, and please explain it to me. If me and the other parent were to make an agreement of a lower child support order, what happens? What is everything that's needed in order for me to provide a modification if both parents agree on a lower dollar amount?
If both parties agree on a lower dollar amount, we will still need to process the review and adjustment the same way we would do it if a person did not agree. We have to find out what the appropriate child support amount is, so that can be listed in the order. Okay. So we will also state in the order that you're agreeing to something other than what guideline states.
Okay. All right. And so if I am a non-custodial parent, essentially meaning I'm a paying parent, if I lose my job, do I still have to pay child support?
You do. Child support does not end as long as there is an order stating that you are ordered to pay support. So in that instance, you would want to request the modification of your order to review it for the appropriate amount.
Okay, recently with all the changes, I now have my child more often than before. Am I able to request a modification at that point?
Yes, because that's going to be a change in visitation. So therefore, you would want to request a modification. We will review it to see what the appropriate child support amount is.
Okay. And I have another question for you. Okay. If my ex recently remarried, does that affect my child support order? Meaning their income that they're now receiving because they are remarried. Does that affect the current order?
No. In most cases, it's not the new spouse's responsibility to pay the support. It's the individuals, the mother and the father, whoever has custody of the child. It's their responsibility. So we're going to take their income. Now, in court, the attorneys possibly can utilize the new spouse's income in the calculation, but it's only because it's going to probably give you a different tax filing status. Okay. And that could be play a factor in the amount.
Okay, so what happens if the other parent does not agree to the modification? What happens with the order?
Then we will again go ahead and set a hearing, and both parties can agree, disagree in court, but we will in most cases come up with the appropriate equitable order.
Okay. All right. And so one other question. In regards to professional assistance for helping get through the process or filling out that income and expense declaration form that you mentioned, who would be the best person, or what department would be the best place for me to receive that help?
You can always contact our office via our call center, again with your case manager, through our live chat, through Customer Connect. Any of those entities, we can definitely assist you on any questions that you have.
Okay, and is there a third party who I'm able to connect with? I've been reading online about a support agency known as FLAC. Can you explain what FLAC is and what type of assistance that they're able to provide?
Yes. FLAC is our Family family law facilitators, and they can go a little bit more in depth with you in filling out the income expense form. The income expense form, to be perfectly honest, is just information about you, so it should be kind of self-explanatory, but if you need assistance with that, FLAC can definitely assist you.
Okay. One other question I have. My court order is in another country. County. Am I still able to modify my child support order?
Yes, if your order is in another county, then we will just register that order here in Riverside and we will modify it. Now, just remember, if your order is in another state, it is a possibility that we don't have controlling jurisdiction over that order. In that case, we may have to petition the other state to modify the order for us.
It sounds like my best bet would be to visit the live chat on our website to get immediate help and immediate answers.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely want you guys to go to our riversidechildsupport.com website, click on reserve appointment if you would like to make a Skype appointment. You can also click on live chat in the bottom right hand corner and be able to speak with the child support representative right now. They're available from 8:30 to 5, and they're able to assist Monday through Friday. A question for you, Judy. Can I modify my custody at the same time I'm modifying the dollar amount?
Unfortunately, not through the child support division. The child support agency, we only handle child support. You would have to actually contact the courts or FLAC to review a modification of your custody and visitation.
So, another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
The other parent just had another baby.
Mm-hmm.
Who needs to request the modification to the child support?
If the person wants a benefit of the modification, it would be the person with the new child,
Okay.
because they will get a credit for having an additional child in the home.
Okay. And with all the changes due to the pandemic, and right now I'm just got a brand new job, and do I need to request a modification?
If your income changed, increased or decreased, then it's to your advantage to request the modification. Now, just remember, due to the pandemic, the courts have been closed. They are backlogged. Our normal time frame to complete the modification is 180 days. It is a possibility that it may extend over that time only because of the shortage or the backlog with the courts at this time.
Can you speak on how exactly my employer would know that my child support order got modified, so therefore the garnishment on my wages change?
Yes, once the order is filed with the court, the modified order is filed with the courts, and we receive it back here at the child support agency, we will enter that order, and then a new modified wage garnishment will go out to the employer with the appropriate increase, decrease, modified amount.
Okay, so if anyone has any questions, they would still be able to contact or even call 866-901-3212 and speak with the child support specialist, and they would be able to offer phone assistance immediately regarding their case. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
My new job does not offer medical support. Should I modify my order for medical charges?
No. The way that the medical enforcement works is if you have medical available to you at no or reasonable cost through your employment, then we must enforce for that medical. If it is not available to you, then we don't enforce.
Okay. Now, mentioned before that the changes of custody could affect a modification. Now, even if it's going to be temporary, is that a temporary modification if the visitation and custody is going to change?
If it's over 3 months, then you may want to request a modification. It's not a temporary order. It will be a modification. If custody goes back to the other parent, then at that time you may want to request another modification.
So 3 months really make a big difference. So if it does happen and it's extends longer than 3 months, then I should be able to qualify for a modification, and I should contact the child support department to request it?
Yes. Now, if you know that the change in custody is going to last more than 3 months, or if you're not sure, I would go ahead and request a modification with the change in custody. I would go ahead and request it immediately because of the time frame that it does take to modify the order. If in fact the child is returned to the other parent, then we can always terminate the modification process.
Is child support services able to help modify spousal support?
No, we are not, unfortunately.
And another question, my children's mother is now on cash aid. Does this affect my child support?
It does not.
Oh, okay, so I should not have to request a modification?
No.
Okay.
If the other parent is on cash assistance, and some change of circumstance happens for you, then by all means go ahead and request a modification, but it does not determine or change the amount of child support just because the other person's on assistance.
And once again, who is the best person or best agency or department to contact in regards to needing help or assistance with modifying the child support order?
I would say the Child Support Division is your best resource. Again, you can contact our call center, the case manager, our live chat, contact the case manager via Customer Connect, as well as set up the Skype appointments.
So just to mention about all the different ways to contact us. So one is contacting our phone at 866-901-3212. Another way would be to visit our website, riversidechildsupport.com. If you are looking to make a Skype video appointment, you have the ability to do so. Just click on Reserve Appointment on our website, and you would be able to make a Skype video appointment with the child support specialist right from your phone, tablet, or desktop. And one other way, whether you're on an iPhone, iPad, Android device, desktop, tablet, you name it, you would be able to chat with a specialist live by clicking on live chat. Live chat, you would be able to ask any questions pertaining to your child support case, and we will be able to assist you. So I have another question. Do you accept a notarized agreement?
No, and in fact, a notarized agreement by the parties is not a modification of your order. If in fact the Child Support Division gets involved, it is not recognized at all. You need to modify the order and have that order filed through the courts.
Okay. So what happens when I go to court for the modification?
When you go to court for the modification, our Department of Child Support attorneys will meet and confer with you. They will try to get each party to agree or find out what needs to be changed to result in an agreement of the child support amount. Once that is done, they'll file a stipulation. Both parties will sign, and that will be filed as the order. If in fact one or the other party does not agree and they request to have an actual hearing in front of the judge, that can also be done. Just understand, due to COVID, the courts are closed. All of the hearings are telephonic. So the notice that you receive in the mail, it will advise you of the phone number that you need to call at 8 a.m. on the day of your hearing. Contact that number, follow the prompt, and then you're registered for your hearing for that day.
Okay. So what happens if I just simply don't want to go to court, but yet I'm still want to request a modification?
The modification can be completed without actually going to court. If in fact both parties agree to the child support amount, then we can do that through our office, send both parties the stipulation to be signed. Once it's returned, it'll go to court for filing.
Okay, can you explain two different situations, whether it's incarceration or active service in the military? How does that affect a modifying order?
A child support is based on ability. If a person is incarcerated, they don't have ability to pay support. Now, if they're incarcerated and they're still receiving funds, we will continue to enforce our order. In most cases, when a person is incarcerated, they are not receiving any kind of income. So it would modify the order to 0 at that time.
Okay.
With military, it's still the same modification process unless the individual is deployed. And then it changes the time frame because of deployment.
Okay. Now, if I request a modification, at that point, can I stop paying the child support order while I'm going through the process of the modification?
No. If in fact you stop paying the child support during the modification process, it's going to result in arrears being accumulated, which interest is charged on those arrearages, as well as there may be adverse enforcement actions taken because of non-payment.
Okay. And if I have two children with two separate child support orders, and I request to modify one child support order, does that automatically cover and carry over to all the child support orders that I have?
No, it does not. You would need to request a modification of both orders. Now, with the child support division, if we see a change of circumstances, we are going to review the person paying supports, all of their obligations, to make sure that we are giving credit for any other cases that you have.
Okay. Can me and the other parent agree to a specific child support amount?
You can. But again, we're going to go ahead and go through the full modification process, determine what the appropriate amount should be, and that information is going to be listed in the order stating that you're wanting to deviate or use a different amount other than the guideline amount.
And once again, who is the best person or best agency or department to contact in regards to needing help or assistance with modifying the child support order?
I would say the Child Support Division is your best resource. Again, you can contact our call center, the case manager, our live chat, contact the case manager via Customer Connect, as well as set up the Skype appointments.
So just to mention about all the different ways to contact us. So one is contacting our phone at 866-901-3212. Another way would be to visit our website, riversidechildsupport.com. If you are looking to make a Skype video appointment, you have the ability to do so. Just click on Reserve Appointment on our website, and you would be able to make a Skype video appointment with the child support specialist right from your phone, tablet, or desktop. And one other way, whether you're on an iPhone, iPad, Android device, desktop, tablet, you name it, you would be able to chat with a specialist live by clicking on live chat. Live chat, you would be able to ask any questions pertaining to your child support case, and we will be able to assist you. Well, Judy, I really appreciate you taking the time today to go over modifying your child support virtual workshop.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope we provided some information that will be extremely useful for the public.
And please keep in mind, if we didn't answer your questions today, please feel free to continue to leave a comment. We will be able to reply back to that comment, but look forward to the 12 o'clock version of the Spanish translation of modifying your child support order. Thank you.